Hey there, it's Nicola Smith-Jackson, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 ways to increase your credit score fast. Now, just a little bit about myself, and I know a lot about this. Not only have I been in the real estate and the financial industry combined for over 20 years, I see a lot of people who would be, denied the ability to get a home or get a loan, and it can be frustrating. But I got to know about how important credit was from my own personal experience as well. I ended up with a $50,000 on my credit report, and it threw my finances in a frenzy. I was in the 700s, and that tax lien went on my credit report, plummeted me down into the 500s. Now, I can tell you this, I literally was paying my tax bill, and what I found out was that you can end up with negative items on your credit report, whether it's your fault or not. And the end result is you still can get denied the ability to purchase a home or what have you. And I was trying to do a home equity line of credit with my house. I was pre-approved before the tax lien on my credit report, and then got denied. Nonetheless, I always knew that credit was important, but I became passionate about helping people understand how they can improve their credit and so that they can also, just get approved. Now, the benefits of you increasing your credit score now, you won't have to feel embarrassed and frustrated when you're trying to go apply for a loan. You also would now be in a good position approved for that new home loan or car loan if you're trying to get even whether a job, what have you, and many things when you're trying to get these loans without a signer. Very hard to find people to put their credit on the line for you, as well as very hard to find people with a great credit score. So if you have a 7 credit score or lower, this video would be a benefit to you to increase your score. And so before we go into my 3 tips, I want you to know first, how is your credit score calculated? This is extremely important because it's also going to help you understand the value of these tips and why you want to put them into play right away. The is your payment history. That's 35% of your credit score calculation, especially when you start talking about open or active accounts. It's so important to pay your bills on time. And so what you want to do is understand that 5% of your credit score is your payment history. And this does include whether it is, your tax liens, repossessions, late pays, medical bills, student loans, all of that goes into the 35%. The other large part of your credit score calculation is your debt, or more importantly, your utilization, especially when it comes to revolving accounts like cards. So important for you to understand that 30%, which is your debt or your utilization of your debt, is extremely important. And so that revolving debt, we're going to talk about that, but you want to keep that at least at 30% or lower of the utilization. So for instance, if you have a credit card and the credit card limit is $1,000, you need to stay on $300 or less of that, right? You want to stay at 30% or lower. Extremely important. Now, 15% is your credit history. How long have you been able to rock with credit? It's extremely important that if you do have credit cards you've had for a while, and even if you decide you want to pay it down under 30%, don't close them, because you need that credit history. Even though 15% is the same amount as 35% with your payment history or 30% with your debt or your utilization, is still important. So you want to keep as long of payment history as you can. That's also the reason why you might even have someone who's more seasoned or elderly who even have a few things on their credit report, with someone who's young, who has no credit. The person who even is older with things may even have a better credit score because of that 15% that credit history. Also, the types of credit that you have. Whether it's secured or unsecured debt. The difference between the two is secured debt is backed pretty much by your own money. This is a great place sometimes for people to start. However, you don't get as many kudos or even percent with the algorithm of your credit score calculation as you do with unsecured debt, which means that someone trusted you with their money, right? A bank or a credit card company. And then the last is Increase. Extremely important that you don't stress yourself with Increase. Do not allow people to continue to just pull your credit. This can affect your credit score. Even though it's only 10%, there are some people who may be trying to maybe applying for a car loan or a home loan, and your credit requirement, the credit score requirement might be a certain number. And then just because you may have tons of Increase may bring you below a few points and make the difference between you actually being, approved or not. Okay. Let's talk about here the steps. You ready? I wanted to make sure I didn't leave out step, right? These 3 steps can actually increase your credit score pretty fast. Ahead and take action. The first thing is you want to monitor your credit. You got to know where you are before you know even where you're going. You can literally request 3 times a year per the Credit Reporting Act, which is the law that governs this whole credit thing anyway, 3 times a year to know exactly what's on your credit. It's extremely important that you're the last one to know what your credit score is, and you never want to only know what your credit score is when you go to apply for a loan. So important for you to go ahead and request those free credit reports and then go ahead and get your credit score. You have to pay a little bit of money. You're going to know that that credit in place and knowing where you are is going to be the first step to actually increasing your credit score. Also want to be sure that there are no accounts authorized that you had no clue about on your credit, because identity theft is like a huge crime going on right now. And how many times I see people who their credit score has gone in the dumps and they had no clue just because they don't monitor or check their credit report. The second thing that you can do is you can actually become an authorized user. This is that can actually boost your credit score extremely fast. I want you to know that becoming an authorized user is you want to find someone that you trust. It may not be really easy to find this, but you find someone that you trust and they have a credit card, and you want to make sure that, number one, they have good payment history, perfect payment history for best, and for at least 2 years, and as well as they are also playing by the utilization game. They're keeping their utilization under 30%. This is where, even though you don't even have access to the card, you get to get the benefits of the credit line and the credit history on your credit report. This can boost your score fast. Now, I have to note about authorized users. You want to know that this was originally created for loved ones to help them boost their credit, and it's not designed to be abused. So I don't recommend you going to this from companies or buy these from people you don't know, because one of the things about this, although it can increase your score super fast, one of the things that you want to know is that you if that person decides not to pay their credit card on time, you also get that negative payment history. So this is a great way for you to boost your score while you're getting your act together. By being an authorized user, it can increase your score tremendously. And then the third thing you're going to want to do is you want to make a plan to pay down your debt. Make a plan to pay down your debt. Now, having a a debt plan, a debt payoff plan is extremely important. Why? A few things. For number one, your credit score is percent, right? We talked about that. 30% is your debt, and especially revolving. However, people who actually have less debt, you have more buying power. And so this can also increase your score because debt is a huge portion of your score. So if you got the credit cards like we talked about, pay them down to 30% or less in the utilization, as well as even if you have installment loans and things like that, don't over inundate yourself with debt. Because now when it comes down to you making those important or those larger purchases, like if you want to get a home or car or things like that, they're look at your to income ratio. So paying down the debt, having a plan to pay down the debt, definitely increase your credit score. Also, if you have things like collections and things like that on your credit report, paying those things down increase your credit score because it now makes you less of a risk or liability. And so for our 3 tips, for number 1, go ahead, check your credit, get that credit report. You get 3 free ones per year from all 3 of the credit bureaus. Okay, where you are, so you know where you're going. And then number 2, become an authorized user on someone's credit that is a good credit. Make sure it's someone that you know, someone that you trust, and you may not need to use that forever, but it definitely can boost your score. You get their instant pay history and good credit, and make sure it's also at a great place of the utilization under 30%. And number 3, you want to get a debt payoff plan, pay down the debt that you can increase that 30% of your score. Hopefully this helped you out. And I just want to let you know that even though those 3 tips are the bomb.com, it's just scratching the surface of what you can do to increase your credit score. Now, there is a company I recommend that I actually use. I talked to you about my credit plummeting into the 500s, and I use this program. Now I am in the 700 club and above, right? And I can share with you more about that. If you want to click the link below, you can set up to talk, or you can set up some time to review. And, if you're serious about building your credit, go ahead and hit that link. All right, Nicola Smith-Jackson, it was great being with you. Hopefully these tips helped you. Hi, it's Nicola here again, and I hope you enjoyed my training on how to increase your credit score fast. I know those 3 tips are very valuable, and I hope it helped. If you implement that, it will help you increase your score. But I want you to know that there's more where that came from. The truth is that most people don't realize that their credit is like their DNA. And you can actually have the same exact score as someone else, but have it for totally different reasons, right? Because there's all sorts of reasons why people have less than perfect credit. That's the reason why I want to invite you to hop on a call for a private consultation with me. We're standing by waiting on you so we can help you out in increasing that credit score. And so you just start thinking about those goals that you want to accomplish, and just know that if you go ahead and set that appointment up, you'll be one step closer to reaching that goal. So I'll see you on the other side. Click the link and set up an appointment with me today.